Hey everybody, my name is David Pendleton. Thanks for watching this video. If you find it helpful, please hit the subscribe button. I like to put tournament videos on here all the time and some one-on-one tour play. So I figured I'd kind of give you some insight on how my new tournament is going. Right now, I am minus 19 on the front 9, and I'm going to give you a walkthrough of each shot that I've taken so far. So we're going to start off with hole 1. Hole 1, which is a par 3 that you play with 30% elevation, and you go for the rough bump on pro. Now I am using a Wind 5 Power 1 ball just to control the wind, but you don't have to. I mean, this is a hole that pops up all the time on Tour 8 and shootouts. Easy to hit hole-in-ones with Navigators, Quasars, Katanas, but when it comes to tournaments, I like to use balls like this. It's the only time I use them, just to give myself a little bit more wind control, especially on a par 3 that I consider an easier hole-in-one. But really simply here, you just really use a click of right spin, because you can miss it left. If you miss this, if you hit perfect and you miss left, it's because you didn't add the right spin. But a very simple adjustment. Again, 30% elevation. You're playing sniper at max distance. Hit the ball perfect. You get the nice little camera angle right here, and it's going to go right at the hole for the easy hole-in-one. Hole 2 is a par 4, and in my opinion, in order to win this tournament, this one is a must-eagle hole. So what you do is you pull out your big topper, and it doesn't matter what level you have the big topper at. I have other accounts that I've played with a big topper as low as a level 2. This shot can be played the same, but you're seeing a lot of people go long on this hole, and here's the reason why. You need to make sure that your ball guideline is in the rough. See at the very bottom where it's in the rough, not on the fairway. That's where you want to be. You want this ball to hit a little bit more rough so it slows down when you get to the fairway. You don't have to use any elevation, but I always use 10% on this hole. I found out it gives me a little bit of breathing room if I hit great left, which is exactly what I did. I have the habit of hitting great left on this hole. I don't know if it's in my head, but you can see I still hit great left. I got a nice roll. That bounce hit the bottom of the rough, which let it slow down right there. From there, that was a very simple chip in, which I don't need to show you. It was very close distance. Hole 3. I'll just show you the Albatross shot here. I've been practicing this all tournament long. This is my 3rd time getting the Albatross on this hole, so I do have this one pretty dialed in. I'm using a katana, and I just start off by putting this all the way at full backspin with no side spin, and I stretch my club here until I get the ball target to aim right into the hole. You can see right here, I'm just a little bit to the right, so I move it around. I just try to find that spot where the ball stretches and pretend that I can see the ball rolling directly into the cup. 10% elevation. And I played this one between minimum and mid distance of my sniper. You don't need any overpower. You just take a normal shot. Hitting perfect is always the key. And then again, when you see the camera angle take this, you know you're going to be close. And it's dead center in the middle of the pin for the Albatross. All right, hole 4 is another par 3. And again, in my opinion, this was an easier hole-in-one in the tournament if you use the right clubs. So you need to use a quarterback, and you can use a katana, but the katana was going to require a lot more spin on the ball because of the wind. So again, I used a wind-resistant 5 ball. My opponent missed his shot, and he actually bounced on the fairway way past the green, so he was rooting for me to get in the hole so I can save his tournament, or his hole at least, which I did. You see my ball guideline here? It's not at the pin. You get a natural roll from right to left on this green, and those are the things you need to dial in during your qualifying and opening rounds. So, my notes here were to have the yellow ring at the sand line. And then I had a 4.1 mile per hour wind earlier, so I wrote down I need 1 1/4 backspin with 5.5 left spin, which is exactly what I used here in the 4.4 mile per hour wind. So, that was a nice hole-in-one. And that's where taking notes really comes into play, because again, on something this specific, when I was lining my shot up, I was doing it based off of landmarks. Yellow ring at the sand, played mid-distance of the quarterback, and on the last round, I had a 4.1 mile per hour wind. So I wrote down 1.14 backspin and 5.5 left spin. And I knew that if I had wind around that same miles per hour, I would be able to get it again. All right, so we are off to hole number 5. Hole number 5 was just a birdie, so we can skip that one. If you need it, just put in the comments, but for time's sake, hole 5 I've had troubles with. I did get the birdie on it though. Hole 6, we can skip the drive because it's a simple drive, but I will show you how you need to dial in your albatross opportunities. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to change your elevation to negative 20% because we are playing this one uphill. And I add my spin here before I take my shot. I kept missing this right, missing it right, missing it right during all of my rounds on both of my accounts. And this was only the second time I actually got the albatross. So, I knew what I needed to do here is put the ball guideline with full right spin slightly to the left of the pin. You see how I'm not going directly to the center? Because that's been my mistake the whole time. I keep aiming at the pin and the ball just naturally rolls to the right. So this time I decided to offset, put it to the left of the pin, but using my same spin adjustments, I was able to hit perfect, and I was able to get the albatross on this hole. This was a really good shot. You can see it start to take off to the right there, but I was able to control it by having the ball guideline just to the left of the hole. Hole 7 is a par 3. I only picked up the birdie on this hole, so I don't need to show you that one. Hole 8. Now this one I thought I got myself into a little bit of trouble on. So hole 8, I go full top spin, full right spin. No, sorry, on this one, since I have an extra mile, 8, I go 4.5 top. If I go full top spin, I'm in trouble. I found that out during the previous round. So I backed it up to 4.5 top spin, full right spin. I make a 10% adjustment for the drive. And then it's really important to push back up to max. 7.9 was the highest wind that I've had on this hole by a 0.5 mile per hour. So the highest wind before this was 7.3. Now I've played this one by using this exact same overpower, and I've been actually very close to getting the hole-in-one. I hit the pin once, and I lipped it once as well. But because of the 0.5 mile per hour wind adjustment here, I went past the hole, but it was still no problem because as you can see, I made my second shot, which gave us the eagle. And then we're on to hole number 9, which is the last hole that I've played so far. On this hole, I don't do any adjustments as far as elevation goes. I don't adjust my landing shot at all. I just go for full top spin, and I go just to knock the shit out of the ball on the drive and get it as close to the green as possible. I thought about going with a snow globe ball here just to try to get to green, but I've been doing really well with the chip and albatross. So again, I just get the big topper out, full top spin, basically full overpower the berserker. I hit great right, but it was okay. We got a really good bounce. We got a really nice roll. Of course, I would have liked to hit perfect, which would have put us a lot more to the left-hand side, possibly on the fringe area. But still, even here, at this distance, is no problem for the chip in. So overall, I'm minus 19 through the first 9 holes. I'm really excited. I picked up 3 albatrosses along the way. And this was the final albatross here. This was a good one for my opponent because my opponent actually hit water on his drive. So this is again where he needed me to make a shot, because if I make this, then he's going to get an eagle on the hole. I really didn't like all the different ball rolls here on this hole. So I wasn't going to go full top spin like I normally do with this club, but I decided to push my target further up and not use much top spin at all. I made an adjustment of like 1.3 rings here, hit the ball perfect, and we had a really smooth roll into the cup. So I appreciate you guys watching. I'm going to try to close this thing out and get the gold banner, but this is how I played this tournament.